Good evening, Australia. Good morning, UK. Very good morning, early morning, USA. Whereabouts you are in the USA, maybe 4 or 6 a.m., maybe 2 a.m., I'm not too sure. I've got someone joining me from USA this morning. That is Self-Care is Love. And we're going to talk about importance of putting yourself first. There's a few people joining. That's fantastic. I'm glad to be back with you after a few weeks off. Had a few personal issues with some people who aren't very well, so had to take the time off and get myself together and get everything together. Good morning, Psych Cafe. Oh, I just forgot your name. That's stupid of me. It's Fran. Okay, so I'm going to get 6 a.m. New Jersey. I'm going to get Self-Care is Love on. She's already here, and we're going to have a good chat. Good to see you again, Dan. Good to see you again, Fran. Lovely to be back. I'm so excited to be back. Are you there? 6 a.m. Virginia. 6 a.m. Virginia. Hello from Australia. One Blue Princess.
Hi,
Good
it's actually
morning.
4 a.m. here, but
4 a.m.
yeah,
Wow, you
4
must be
a.m.
dedicated. That's so good.
Hold on, let me fix.
I think we've lost her for a minute. Get a grip with Ags, 11 a.m. UK. Hello, how are you? I don't think I've seen you on here before, but we chat a bit on Instagram. And Journey with Serene, hi, how are you? The Mind Tradie is here as well. So is the life coach Josh. Chad Nelson's here from Virginia, 6 a.m. I shouldn't do an American accent because I can't do them very well and it just sounds rubbish. How are you?
Oh, it's 4 a.m. here, so I had to get up at 3. But you know what? I love your profile and I love your podcast. So when the opportunity arose to do live with you, I had to take it. So I'm good.
Ah, beautiful. And I don't think I know your first name.
Sam.
Sam, I'm
Yes.
Dan. So as you can
And
see,
you're Daniel, right?
myself and Sam haven't met in real life. Yeah, Daniel or Dan. But we've met now and we've chatted for quite a while. I think it's quite a while on Instagram, swapping bits and pieces back and forth, chatting. So it's been really good to connect with you, and it's really good that you could come on this morning, even though it's so early for you.
It is what it is. But like I said,
Oh, we
I'm so looking forward to doing this live just because I love your podcast and I love your message and what you want to accomplish through the podcast. So and I love your lives. So I wanted to be on. It's an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
on them. Yeah, and I think we're going to do a podcast sometime in the future as well, aren't we?
Hopefully, like you said that it's quite a bit of out of ways. I think like you said something about that it would be like the end of the year, but I would love to do that.
Yeah, look, it is. There's so many people wanting to come on, and yeah, it's processing them. I'm in season 3 at the moment. I think I'm up to episode 4, and I think I'm doing 15 for this one. I've recorded about 7, and I've got about 6, no, 5 to go. I'm not sure. I put them on hold for a little while as well, while I took a 3-week break. So
Hmm.
it's really, really great that you're here today talking about self-care and importance of putting yourself first, because I've just had 3 weeks where it's been totally all over the place, and I need to learn this from you because I need to put myself first in some situations.
Yes. I truly feel that self-care has literally changed my life. And I think that if everyone embraces self-care and understands the importance of self-care, it can change everyone's lives for the better. So, yes, self-care is so important.
So can you tell us a few things that you've done for self-care that have helped change what you're feeling and what you're doing?
Yes, I'll be glad to. So, one big thing that I do for myself on a daily basis is make sure that I do my self-affirmations. Um, let's see. Oh, thank you, Journey with Serene. Yes, it is so important. Yeah, I do my self-affirmations daily. I have about I want to say 50 that I
50. Wow.
what I do is I pre-recorded them
Yep.
and I have them on my phone, and
Yep.
every morning I repeat them back to myself. I don't know if you and a number of things you can do this a number of ways. You can write them down. But my best way is to record them that way that they're in my head. And so
Yep.
I'm not only listening to myself, I'm repeating it back to myself out loud. So that's
Good.
one major thing that I do. And I find that if I don't do that, I'm off. The whole
Right.
day I'm just off. And it doesn't take any time at all. Like if you record yourself recording the affirmations, it takes maybe like 5 minutes. Everyone has five
Yeah.
minutes, to set aside for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I know with a couple of people I've worked with, I've actually said to them about doing affirmations morning and night. And we start with a few and then we add a few more in. And look, it's a mixed response. Some people I think it really works for, and other people I think they want an instant response. And after 1 or 2 days, they go, oh, nothing's changing. But you've got to really reprogram your mind with them, haven't you?
Yeah, you can literally can reprogram the way you think for the better with affirmations because our brains work off of repetition. I
Yep.
think somewhere I read it's stated that you only have to hear something 3 times for to believe it to be true.
Right.
So if you tell yourself on a daily basis things like, I am this now, it changes your mindset. And a
Yep.
lot of people seem to not understand the importance of talking to yourself like you're already there. I think a lot of people get in the mistake of saying, "Well, someday I'll have this. Someday I'll be able to do this." No, you can do it right now. You just
Yeah.
need the mindset to do it. And um so yeah, so self-affirmations are so important. I also love just taking one day a week, just one day a week to do something for yourself, by
Yep.
yourself. Like, for example, I love to go and get my hair done. Like, I love to go and get my hair washed and styled. I know it sounds like very like minimal, but I mean it makes me feel good. Maybe something for you would be like, okay, an hour a week. I'm gonna take that hour and read my favorite book. I'm not gonna let anything or anyone else stop me. I'm gonna turn off my phone for an hour and read a book. You know,
Wow.
because that may be the only time that you have time for it. Is that one
Yeah.
hour a week, and it's so important because you're doing something for yourself. And so that's another suggestion that I have for people is to, if they're really busy with stuff that they're doing, take 1 hour a week at least and do something for yourself.
So should you actually put that in your schedule so that you know you've got to take that hour out?
Yes, schedule that in. Like if you have your own business and you're seeing clients on a regular basis,
Yep.
schedule that hour for yourself. Schedule it for you.
Yeah. All right.
You
I'm going to
know,
try that because I'm always running out of time. I want to do stuff for myself. And the last few weeks have been very hectic and now they've calmed down. It would be good to have something to look forward to, I think. Because, when we book a holiday, then we're always looking forward to that holiday. But we can have little breaks each week, can't we? Where we schedule an hour where we can go, okay, that hour I'm going to have a bubble bath or I'm going to read my book or I'm going to watch some terrible television. But it's that hour for me.
exactly, exactly. How is your mother, by the way?
Oh, I wasn't going to talk about that on here,
Oh, I'm sorry.
but
You
that's
don't have to
okay.
go into detail. I'm just saying that I just want to make
She's
sure she's
doing
okay.
she's doing okay. The only reason I wasn't going to is because we have relatives in the UK who, if they happen to watch it, we haven't told them anything about it yet. But she did have a fall, and when she had a fall, they found she had mild pneumonia, and so she was in hospital for a couple of weeks, and she's been getting herself better, and now she's come home. She came home last Tuesday, so she's been home now for a week and I've
I'm
been
glad to hear
staying
that.
there for the week, and now I'm just back at home again now. So it's good. Life's getting back to a little bit of normality for a while, but
Yay.
that's okay. That's good. I can share all that, so that's good. Yes.
That is good news. I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear that.
So what are some other tips you've got?
Sorry, one more time.
What are some other tips you have for self care?
Let's see. Well, Boundaries are a big thing too.
Boundaries are great.
Boundaries, not only with other people, but with yourself. Let me explain. So part of the boundaries and the I call them daily disciplines for
Oh, good.
myself.
Yep.
So I need to make sure that I'm doing my routine every day in
Yep.
order to make sure I put myself first. Some of my daily disciplines are my self-affirmations. I also take 20 minutes a day to go for a walk outside. There's no excuse that you can't take 20 minutes a day, at least for me, to go in the morning before it gets too hot. And if it's nice outside, go for a walk. Just go for a walk around your house, wherever you live. If you want to drive somewhere a little bit out and just take a walk in a neighborhood that you've never been to before. I mean, taking a walk outside is so therapeutic. It reminds me that everything around me is abundant. There's no shortage of things.
Yep.
Nature is amazing and it's a miracle. So that's what taking a walk does for me. Um, but yours might be different. Yours may be something like, every day you take a 20-minute shower to wake
Oh,
yourself up.
wouldn't that be
You,
lovely?
sorry?
Wouldn't that be lovely?
I know. Yeah. But just whatever you want to do for yourself, whatever feeds your soul, you know yourself good enough to be able to do daily habits to improve your mental health overall.
We've just got a couple of people that said hello. D Hunter has said hello. Perception is your power says hey. And Chuparat, hi everyone. I think that's right. Yeah, look, with walking, I used to do a lot of walking with my dog. And it was the best thing because you could be mindful and just listen to the sound of the trees and the wind and dogs barking and seeing people walking with their dogs. It was just really good. And I've sort of got out of that habit. I mean, I guess here as well at the moment, we're in winter. So you're Fahrenheit. So I don't know how cold it would be for you, but this morning it was 0 degrees
Yeah,
Celsius.
that's so crazy. Like I know that you've had Mike on the show through MC counseling.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Mike is my friend, and he told me that right now that they're having you're having your winter, and I'm like, that's crazy
Yeah,
because
and
right
it's
now it's
really
our
cold.
summer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's crazy. We're topsy-turvy, aren't we? Because up there you're nice and warm, and down here we're cold. One Blue Princess says, I love walking, but this cold weather is very hard. For anyone who knows the Mind Tradie who does a podcast, he put an update up this morning, and he was at the beach at 4 a.m. when it was 2 degrees, and I think he went for a swim, and I said, man, you're a superstar. I couldn't ever do that.
That's dedication right there.
Yeah. And Soap Cafe, who is Fran, says, we're having a heat wave.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you based in America?
So I'm in the western part of the United States. So right now it's been like the 90s, mid
Oh,
90s in the
I don't know what
afternoons.
that is in Fahrenheit. I mean, in Celsius.
Celsius. Uh,
About 30 degrees? Oh, I was just about to grab my phone to have a look and do a conversion, but I can't because I'm looking at you on it.
I think that I'm pretty sure Celsius is twice as hot
Well,
as
if anyone
Fahrenheit.
out there
So
watching knows how to or can convert Fahrenheit to Celsius for us, it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit. D Hunter says it's raining here in Newcastle upon Tyne, England. Still went out for a walk. That's dedication. That's good.
you see, I love walking in the rain. If I have an umbrella and it's not like a cold, gross rain or
Yeah.
heavy wind rain, I can definitely walk in the rain for sure.
Well, I mean, the smell of grass and flowers in the rain is completely different, isn't it?
It's like my favorite smell ever. Like, in nature, I love the smell of rain.
Wow.
I don't know
Wow.
anyone else. I don't know anyone who. I never met anyone that like stated they hated that smell. I've always had a good response to people that state that they love the smell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Uh. I think our audience would love to hear some of the stuff you do for yourself. To practice self-care.
Oh, look, I am someone who is really good at helping others with self-care and giving advice and ideas. But when it comes to my self-care, I usually run behind schedule on it. So I'm usually working long hours during the day, recording podcasts, helping out with my mum and other bits and pieces. So usually I might just grab an hour in the evening where I might just lay on the couch, watch a bit of TV, maybe cook some. I have got back into cooking myself good meals because for a while there, I just didn't have the time to cook. And I thought, look, I need to focus on what I'm cooking because that's part of your self-care. I am actually excited about having a bath at some stage soon. I'm going to put my hour schedule in for this weekend and have a bath because I just think laying in a bath is amazing, and I just haven't had a
Yes.
chance for that. How many years behind Blixer Girl said? Blixer Girl knows me, so she knows that I probably haven't done a lot of self-care recently because I'm always working.
Yes, I love that though that you love baths because I love baths. Like if I could like physically live in water the rest of my life, I would do it. I've always resonated with water. I love water. Um, I practically did when I was a kid. You couldn't find you couldn't if you wanted to find me, I'd be at the pool. That's where I would be as a
Right.
kid, as I'd be at the local pool all the time. Um, but anyway,
Are you an
yeah,
ocean
having a
swimmer?
bath is like, sorry?
Are you an ocean swimmer?
No,
No.
I would love. I don't live near the ocean,
Oh,
so
okay.
I've only been by the ocean a few times. But when I was by the ocean, oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Next time I go to a beach, I'm fully planning on getting in the ocean and swimming.
Right.
Yes,
I mean, look, for me, I think I'm quite a bit older than you, and watching that film Jaws when I was younger sort of put me off ever
Josh.
going swimming. And also here in Australia, we have things like blue-ringed octopus, jellyfish. We have a lot of things in the water and sharks that will bite you while you're swimming. So it's a bit
So that's what
scary
I've
for us.
heard. I've heard that Australia has some of the cleanest beaches, but the deadliest creatures in your beaches too. So it's like,
Yeah. And
if
look, I just found out there's this little shell. I can't remember what it's called. I did a first aid course on the weekend, and it's a beautiful shell, and every single shell is completely different. But inside it is a little animal that if you go to pick up the shell, it like stings you, and you have a heart attack within 20 minutes. So
wow,
another reason not to go swimming in the ocean, I think.
yeah. But I don't know, something about the ocean and nature, I don't know, I feel so connected to it and I feel just so at peace whenever I can be around it. A lot of people, get scared to be in nature. I never have that feeling. I always love being in nature, whether it's in the mountains or in the beach or at the beach. So,
I mean, I liked walking along the beach. When I was younger, I used to like rollerblading along the beach, but I'm not really a swimmer in the beach. We used to sit on the beach and have drinks and stuff late at night, and that was good in the heat. I don't know, what's some self-care? Look, I mean, I love spending time with my dog. I love chatting on the phone to people. I do love reading. I'm always reading something, either biographies or something to do with psychology. We just got a couple of comments here. Blixer Girl
yeah.
says, baths are the best. One Blue Princess says, wow. Psych Cafe says, oh my God. And D Hunter said, yeah, love being near water, so calming. There you go. So it is calming, yeah. And I love a
Yes.
spa as well. A spa's good.
Yeah, I go full out with my baths. I always I take baths like all the time. That's how I stay clean. I don't remember the last time I took a shower.
Yeah,
I do baths. Like I have bath salts and I have bath bombs and bubble bath. Like I just that's my go-to. And there was like a year where I lived in a place that only had a walk-in shower.
yeah,
I mean, I dealt with it. Baths are definitely not an essential, but when I have access to a bathtub, I'm using it.
yeah.
And yeah, something about being in water is just so calming and
It
and
is.
tranquil, you know.
And I think, Blixer Girl just said, I got a massive bath spa for my 30th. Wow, that was a long time
Yes.
ago, Blixer Girl, wasn't it? So Hope it's still working. So I guess even watching a movie is self-care, isn't it? Because you're relaxing, you're getting out of your head and focusing on what you're watching. There's lots of things you can do for self-care, which I guess generally we wouldn't think are self-care. I mean, I guess
Yes,
even going and having a few drinks with friends is self-care because you're relaxing, you're having conversations, and Blix the girl just said I'm rude.
I know. That's what I was laughing at. I was laughing at your comment. I was laughing at you.
And one blue princess said, I don't fit in my bath being tall, so spa for me. Oh, lovely.
Yes, spas are always good. Hot tubs are wonderful if you have access to them, for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't have
Um,
access to a hot tub, but I would like to get one.
wouldn't we all? Or a jetted tub in the bath. Like that's my ultimate dream is to have a
Come
jetted
on, up
tub.
here. Sorry, I'm just talking to the dog, getting her out the way. Yeah.
What kind of dog do you
So
have again?
I have this one. Come on, quick, come and say hello. This one.
Oh,
Oh,
and her name's Roxy, right?
yeah, little Roxy. Little
Oh,
Roxy.
hello, girl.
Yes, stop your
She's
arm.
so cute. Um, but what kind of breed is she?
She's a part Whippet, part Staffordshire Terrier. So you usually join, don't you? Up there. Look.
How long have
So
you
what
had
else
her
could we
for?
do? Oh, she's just turned 6.
Oh,
So she's
I
just a
love
little
I love
baby.
all animals. I'm a lover myself, but I have a cat.
Oh,
I
okay.
grew up with cats, and so um, I would love to have a dog, but dogs are just really high maintenance, and I feel bad for I want to make sure I have the time to take care of the dog properly, and I want to be able to run off my schedule. Cats are a lot easier because they're just like they'll come to you when they want attention, but then when they're done, and they don't need attention from you for most of the day. They just,
Yeah.
as long as you provide them a place to go to the bathroom and food and water, they're fine.
Well, Roxy usually just sleeps on me while I'm watching TV. So, and it's the only dog I've ever had that's done that, aren't you?
Aw. Is there any particular shows that she tends to watch with you more closely?
If I can't watch anything with an animal in it because she'll run to the TV and try and chase the animal. And if it runs off the side of the TV, she'll run over to the other side of the room trying to find where it is.
Oh, that's so funny.
It is. It's good.
Dogs are so dogs have such a way about them
Oh,
where they're so therapeutic to be around, especially the empathy dogs have for people.
yeah.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. So back to self-care real quick. I just
Self
wanted
care.
to mention that a lot of people seem to think that self-care is things like relaxing, whether it's taking a bath, whether it's, reading a book,
Bless
and
me.
bless you. And those are all part of self-care, but self-care is also a bigger part. It's a lifestyle that you have to choose to do every single day. I struggle with it, but the thing is, once you make that decision to put yourself first, it changes your mindset in your entire life. For example, when I reached out to you,
Yep.
I saw one look at your profile and I'm like, oh, he's got over 100,000 followers. I'm just gonna reach out to him, let him know that I enjoyed the live that he did with my friend Mike,
Yep.
and I wasn't expecting anything else. I wasn't expecting you to respond to me, but you responded to me within a matter of like minutes, and then you didn't only just respond to me. You were like, yeah, let's get you on a live. Let's get you on my profile. I'm like, oh wow, are you serious? Okay. Um, the old me would never have even tried to reach out to you. The old me would have been talked myself out of doing it before even trying. So
And
that would
see,
have been an opportunity missed. I'm just saying that now that I have adopted this lifestyle of self-care, I am doing things that I never would try to even do. Because what I used to do a lot is talk myself out of things before I even tried to do them.
Well, look, when I started the podcast, I had a lot of friends that came on and were the guests. I had about 10 or 20 people listening, which were mainly friends or family. And then gradually from the beginning of last year, I started getting guests who were on Instagram and people that I reached out to and asked, do you want to come on and be on the podcast? And then I started getting cheeky and I thought, look, I'm going to ask some people. I had a woman called Sarah who was in a cult called Nexium. And I just sent her a message and said, look, this is my show. I'd love to have you on and talk about how you were able to get through what you went through and how you've been able to manage things with anxiety and stuff like that. And recently also I contacted a couple of contestants from Big Brother Australia, and they're both coming up on the podcast this year. And it wasn't because they're famous, it's because of what they do outside of being famous. But yeah, now if I think someone will fit the podcast, I'll send them an email and say, hey, come on, let's come on and have a chat. And I think you have to do those things, because otherwise, how do we connect? How do we all start working together to make the world a better place and help people with mental health? And if we're all just going to sit at home and go, oh, I'm too scared to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta ask you. I gotta know what was it like to interview the author of The Secret? Because I read his book.
Yes. So actually, he was a co-author. What was his name? Now it eludes me. I can't. Bob. Look, it was really good talking to him. I think we spoke for about 40 minutes, and we cut it into, I think, about a 30-minute podcast. And look, to be honest, I'm not that into law of attraction, stuff like that. I've never read anything about it. And when his publicist contacted me and said he'd like to come on, would you want to talk to him? I was like, I don't know. Do I want to talk to him? I don't understand any of this. I've never read The Secret. And we booked the appointment. And then I quickly said to a friend, can I borrow your copy of The Secret? Because I need to read it so I know what to talk about. And then when we actually spoke, he was sort of quite different, because he said the law of attraction goes on all the time, universe, it's always happening. But what you've got to do is you've got to put what you're thinking about into practice. So you've got to physically do what you want. You can manifest something that could take you 3 weeks, or you could go and do it in 10 minutes. So he really changed the way I thought about The Secret and the law of attraction. Yeah, he was amazing. You know, I came off that podcast going, wow, actually, that was really good. And that's the thing, like I say to people, when I do a podcast, it's also about me learning and putting my learning to the test, because I've learned all this stuff. And when you talk to people like that, you go, actually, you know, I do actually know where they're coming from, and I can see a connection. I've spoken to spoke to a child psychiatrist the other week that was out, I think, not last week, the week before. And she was amazing. You know, all these people come forward and want to come on. And when I read their bio, I'm like, wow, they want to talk to me. So Blixer Girl says, oh, wow, going to check it out. I thought it was The Game. No, The Secret. The Secret.
Yeah, it's The Secret.
I think it's 4 episodes ago.
And it's so like condensed and simple, but it also covers a lot of stuff. So that's the perfect book for you to get started if you want to learn more about law of attraction. I highly recommend that book.
So how did you find him when he came on and spoke?
How did I find him?
Yeah, did you have a listen to that one?
Yes, I did. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I listened to the 12 minutes that you posted on Instagram. And I'll have to listen to the entire thing. I just wanted to know like how that was like for you, and how much of the law of attraction that you've researched yourself.
Yeah, zero until I spoke to Bob. But do you know what? Nearly every person I speak to on the podcast, they're all, I regard them as all experts in what they're doing and what they're talking about. I don't know if Chad is still on here. He was on here earlier. And I love getting on a podcast and chatting to him. And there's only a couple of edits at the end. But we really both get a lot out of each other by going, oh, wow, you just said blah, 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 and now I know what that's coming from. Or we might both come up with a concept at the same time, which we wouldn't have unless we were doing a podcast, so it's a real learning tool for me, recording podcasts, because I learn so much from the guests. I've just done another couple a few weeks ago, and they just blew me away. I mean, sometimes when you listen to a 45-minute podcast, I've spoken to that person for 2 hours, and we've had a chat before, we've recorded the podcast and a chat afterwards. There's my mate Chad. He says, yes, love our conversations. Chad is amazing. I can't tell. Well, I've
Hi,
told him
Chad.
enough. I love talking to Chad, and we always get different ideas running, and moments where we just go, wow, that was amazing. I hadn't thought of it that way. So, yeah, really good. Josh McKenzie says this is a bit strange. Why is it strange, Josh? People talking about mental health and self-help. Yeah, so look, that's what the podcasts are like. I mean, talking to people, learning new skills, learning new ideas is just amazing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that is part of my self-care, because I get so much out of recording a podcast and talking to the guest, and making new connections around the world is just amazing. Have you got the sneezes too?
No, I'm recovering from a cold. I have a lingering
Okay.
cough. It's
Yeah,
not
I
as easy
think,
as just coughing.
you know what? It's the middle of winter, but I get hay fever all year round, and I think that's what I'm getting at the moment, because my nose is like, ooh.
Can you allow me 2 seconds? My cat wants in, and he won't stop meowing unless I let him in. So I'll be like
All
two
right,
seconds.
cool. So anyone out there, do you have any questions, or do you have any comments you want to make? If you want to give us a question, you can do it in the little speech box down on the right-hand side next to the aeroplane with the question mark in it, or you can put a comment up and ask us something, or just make a comment about what's happening. Chad, yes, love our conversations. Yeah, great. I'm glad you're still there, Chad. I wasn't sure you'd stay for this long. So.
Yeah, I love what you said about the fact that that you're doing a podcast in mental health, and that you're able to learn from the guests that are on your podcast. That is exactly why I want to be a counselor and do counseling with people. But until I get there, that's why I decided to become a life coach.
Well, look, yeah, you will. You will learn so much from every interaction you have with everybody. And I mean, every interact. Look, I mean, I studied a diploma and a bachelor 10 years ago. And once I did that, it changed the whole way I thought about life. And now I like to do these things, lives, the podcast, just to get it out there. And I mean, my podcast, it's a huge hodgepodge, a huge mix of so many different people talking about different subjects. We've had male anorexia, autism, we've had TV stars. So, lots of different people, and all of them can tell you a little story about themselves, which goes back to mental health. Blix Girl says, you've committed to the time off now. What time have I got off, Blix Girl? Alison Holden says, how did you get started in this? Alison, are you talking about how did I get started in the lives? How did I get started in a podcast? What? I'm not sure. Oh, my nose is running. Psych Cafe says, I admire my clients and their strength and courage. That's it. And Psych Cafe, Fran, do you find that those light bulb moments they have are just the best feeling, because you sort of help steer them in that way, but then they realize it themselves. And I think that's what some people forget about counseling, is we're not there to give you the answers. We're there to help you find the answers yourself.
Yeah, and so does life coaching. Life coaching does that too.
Yeah. So I have had people in the past say to me, well, just tell me what the answer is. And I say, I don't know what the answer is, because it's up to you. It's where you're heading to and what you want to do and what you're doing along the way. But I can help you see more clarity in that. But I can't just say to you, do this. So
Psych Cafe says, love the ahas. Blix the girl says, oh, on the weekend, yeah, because I've committed to having a bath and an hour off. And Alison Holden said, did something in your life lead you to self-help?
Oh,
I've
are you
worked in
talking to me?
well, I think she's talking to both of us. So you go first.
Yeah.
I've just got to blow
Um,
my nose.
okay. Um, oh, hi, Liz. Coffee and Convos just joined. That's my friend Liz, guys. Go check her out. She's amazing.
Hi, Liz.
Um, so, to answer your question, Allison, yes, I have. The fact that I went to counseling myself, my counselor suggested that I look into self-care. Before I actually looked into self-care, I was like, well, isn't self-care just, what we were talking about? Just taking time for yourself, relaxing, taking a bath, reading a book. I understood what self-care, like, what the stigma of it was, but I didn't really understand what it actually was until I looked into it more. And that's what really got me into self-care, is just having my therapist recommend this to me and telling me that the bad days that you have, when they're bad, the reason why they're so bad to you is because your mental health is kind of, you know, it's lacking somewhere. And so she suggested that I do self-care work. Self-care wheel the self-care wheel gives good examples. Is that an Instagram page? Let us know what that is. I would love to look
Fran,
into that more.
could you put that up as an update on your Instagram so that we can have a look at the self-care wheel? Because that
Yes.
will also get lots of people coming to your page to have a look at what the self-care wheel is, because I'm not really
Mhm.
sure.
But yeah, that's ultimately what got me into self-care. Is I started my self-care profile because I figured, well, if I have an Instagram account for my cat, and I have a separate account just for posting cat pictures and videos of himself and then following other cat profiles, why can't I do the same thing for my mental health? Why can't I just start a self-care page where I follow positive influences and only profiles that promote self-care and mental health for my own mental health? That's what it got initially, that this process started. And then as I was going through, I was like, well, wait a minute, this could be something that I could do as a career. Why can't I do a life coach thing right now instead of working a normal 9 to 5 that I don't find any pleasure or fulfillment in? I just do it for a paycheck. And I've
Yeah,
always told myself that my number one reason in life is to help people. I want to do something with people to help. That has always been my number one staple since I can remember, of what I want to be when I grow up. That question that we get asked as children. And so I've always resonated with helping people. And I come to find through life coaching, it's so beautiful because yes, I'm life coaching you, but I am not the professional in this relationship. We are both equal, and I can learn just as much from you as you learn from me. And that's why I love doing life coaching, just like kind of like how you love doing your podcast, is because even though you're the host, you're learning so much from the people that are coming on to your podcast.
definitely.
I feel the same way about my clients. So,
Yeah, and look, Alison, I mean, I've worked in disability for 30 years, and 10 or 15 years ago, I did my counselling diploma and degree, and then I mixed both together. So I actually run a business. I have a business with a friend of mine, and we teach communication skills to people with an intellectual disability and or mental health issues. And so to me, doing the podcast, starting that 3 years ago, was something that I just thought was a good idea, and it's just ballooned to, in November this year, it'll be 3 years that the podcast's been out, and I think there's about 170 episodes now. And I've interviewed loads of different people. Loads of people have come forward who were willing to share their stories, and that's how I started. It was, I wanted to hear stories from normal people that would help other people by listening to us chatting, get a better sense of where they are in their life and what they can do to change to help make themselves feel better and do better things.
I love that
So
so much, and good for you on that. Anything that we can do in this lifetime to make people feel less alone and more united is always good. It's always good to have that sort of I guess like goal of what you're
yeah,
doing with a higher like reason, like your reason behind your podcast. And you know, think about how many people that listen to your podcast and don't feel as alone because you have a guest on, for example, that had a problem with mental health, whether it was depression or anxiety. And even though like we hear about this stuff all the time, sometimes we forget that we're not the only ones that are struggling with this stuff. And it's comforting to know what other people are going through.
definitely.
Allison had a question or a compliment. Thank you for explaining. Is really helpful, and I think your reasons are lovely. Oh, thank you, Allison. um,
Yeah. So look, I mean, when I started the podcast, well, even now when I'm doing the podcast, people ask me why I don't have adverts on there, and the reason is because when I first got adverts, they were nothing to do with mental health, and I don't want to just promote something that's nothing to do with what I want to talk about. Um, so I've never accepted adverts. So it's all, I just put it out there, and you can enjoy it, and it's free, and it's interviews with people that I guess you probably wouldn't have the opportunity to hear speak. Um, and it's not an expose on their life. It's just about asking about their life and us talking about what brought them to where they are now and what things have strengthened them, what things have brought them down. Sometimes we talk about things that can help them, and so there's loads of stuff on there on the Life Changes You podcast. So go and have a listen to that.
yes, very good stuff. Excuse me. Um, so yeah, I hope that I've taught you a little bit about self-care just from the
It's
conversation
been
we've
good.
had. Um, what are some things that you feel would better your mental health if you did more self-care on a daily basis? Do you think that self-care practices would help you with your mental health?
Yes, they would. I think I need to look. I realized in the last week that there was a couple of times where I had half an hour to myself, and having that half an hour to just let everything out and not think about it was what I needed. And I think I spend too much time constantly doing stuff that then I just get to the weekend and I'm exhausted from everything I've had to do. So I need to be a little bit more. I think I need to. We're getting comments from Jennifer, but I don't know if they're coming into Instagram on a update I've done, or if they're coming on here, but we're just not seeing them. So hold on. Being in nature, I embrace all four seasons. Amazing. I love listening to people from Allison. One Blue Princess. Yes, definitely enjoy it. Self care, the way to go. Blixer Girl, thank you. It's very interesting to talk about self care and not just read the memes. Yeah, I think, look, all of us need to at least have half an hour every now and again where we can just say, okay, this is my half an hour to do what I want to do. Um, and I think at the moment that's what I'm going to work on, because I'm a people pleaser. I'm always helping people and never saying no to people. And I need to focus on the fact that I need to focus on me at times. Alison says, yes,
Yes.
I'm a constant doer. Psych Cafe Fran says, feeling connected to people, even abroad, through these podcasts. Oh, thank you, Fran. That's brilliant. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? Yeah, so we're all going to start working on our self-care, health, thanks to you.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're gonna start to try to put yourself first on a daily basis because just from the little bit that I've been talking to you, have noticed that you are a people pleaser, and that's not a bad thing at all.
No,
You are a generous, kind, compassionate person.
I'll keep going.
What
Keep
you
going.
what I mean by that though is you need to take that attitude that you have towards other people and do it for yourself.
Exactly.
Because if you really think about it, the one person we have until we die or move on from this life is ourselves. You
Yeah.
know, we have people around us, and relationships with people are so important to have, but they're also unfortunately not guaranteed. We
I
never know when the people in our lives are going to be gone, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the relationship with ourselves is stable enough to hold ourselves up when those things happen, you know? Like we have other support from other people, and other people's support is incredible, and we definitely need that in our lives, but we need the most is connection with ourselves first.
I love that what you've just said, because I think we tend to, yeah, think about other people and spend time with other people, and a lot of people aren't actually connected or happy with themselves, and that's what we need to work on first, so that we do feel a great sense of self-esteem and self-confidence, and be able to sit with ourselves without feeling like we need someone else there.
Yes, we need to be able to be our own best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that a lot of
Beautiful.
people have the stigma of self-care being selfish. It's not. It's also not narcissistic at all.
Yeah,
It's putting yourself first, meaning when you put yourself first, it doesn't mean that everyone else doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just
yeah.
making sure that you have your own self right in your mind, mentally and physically, so you can take care of other people better. You know, and this also includes, mothers and parents. I'm not a parent myself, but I've seen how hard it is to be a parent and how challenging it can be to balance your kids' needs to your own. And I've been told from so many mothers that they just wish that they would have, more time for themselves. And I kind of I feel for them, for sure. But I also know that they want to put their kids first.
Yeah,
I think that when you have a kid, it shouldn't be first. It should be equal to you, because no one should ever be equal to you until you have kids. If you have a partner, they're second in line, but you're always first. You always need to be first. And when
yeah.
you have kids, I think instead of putting them above your needs, you need to put them as equal to you. They are a part of you, so therefore they come right, right with you. But you can't neglect yourself before your kids, because if you do that, you won't be able to care for your kids as well as you would if you were taking care of yourself.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, very good.
I'm loving all the love, guys. Thank you so much.
I know there's so much love today, and there's so many people popping in and out, and so many little comments there. Alison said, "That's a big ask, but so right." So, look, I hope you guys watching have enjoyed this. It's been great to have Sam here. And remember, Sam got up at 4 a.m. to talk to you all tonight, or today in England, or first thing in the morning in Virginia. And there was a couple of other places that I've now forgotten. So thank you, Sam, for joining me. It was really good to chat to you and to meet you.
Yes, we'll
And
need to do it again.
make sure everybody goes to self underscore care underscore is underscore love and follow Sam, because she has some really great updates during the day and little reels and important information. And I think for anybody, it's really positive, and it will help you all to work on your self care.
That is definitely the goal on my page. Thank you for the shout out. I appreciate it. And thank you guys again for joining us today. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh,
It's been
no
an
problem.
absolute pleasure.
And look, any of you who are on here, you can follow me on life underscore changes you underscore podcast. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple, everywhere you can. And remember, it's self underscore love underscore is underscore care. Is that right?
Yes, it's
Yes.
care is love,
Oh,
but with the
self-care is
underscores
love.
in between them.
Yes.
And I'm sorry there about all the underscores. It's just Instagram, like, yeah, it just it's the algorithm of it all. And guys, if all my followers, life underscore changes you underscore podcast, um, make sure you check him out. He has a lot of different diverse podcasts with different walks of life that you will absolutely enjoy listening to, and you'll definitely learn something through each one.
Yeah. Thank
Yes.
you. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. And thank you for getting up so early for me.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you again for having me. And I will look forward to doing a podcast with you eventually if you'll have me. And
Yep.
let's definitely do another live soon. I would love it.
All right. No worries. You take care.
Have a
Bye-bye,
good week.
everyone.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.